that this episode of the Ultimate 216 Show is brought to you by FanDuel. Listen, NFL Sundays move fast, y'all. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live bets is the best when the game starts to shift. They'll make sure that you are up to know with live spreads and money lines as they adjust instantly. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and now so can you. Shout out to FanDuel. So listen, it's another rookie out here balling, man. And that man is one Carson Schwesinger. Now, full disclosure, because we talked about this earlier, right? I remember us being live on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show page, right? And we was covering day 2 of the draft.
Oh.
And the Browns turned in a card for Carson Schwesinger. And me, you, and Mike was like, who the hell is that? And I'm going to tell you right here, right now, you talk a lot about with new information, real people who selfless, they can admit when they're wrong and they change their opinion. But I also learned something else, man, that even when you think you are prepared as a professional, damn it, do more homework. You better make sure that you are crossing every T and dotting every I, because I am not ashamed to admit today, I had no idea who Carson Schwesinger is. I'm glad I know who he is now. I'm glad the young man is on this team.
Of course.
I hope and pray he is one of those blue bloods that retire as a Cleveland Brown, and we never, ever, 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 ever see another player wear number 49 again. Talk about from your perspective, ever. Talk about from your perspective the season that Carson Schwesinger has had so far.
So I was actually doing a little research, and I'm trying to figure out and find out, because I'm doing a show about how great this class is, and one of the first guys you mentioned is Carson Schwesinger. This is from the Dogs of Cleveland Browns podcast. Shout out to them. I'll be watching their stuff too. It says Carson Schwesinger has 111 total tackles this season. That's the most by a rookie in Browns history, and there's still 4 games left. Schwesinger tallied 10-plus tackles in each of the last 5 games, 7 out of 13 games this year. So right now, he's already, I believe, in the top 15, or it could be the top 10 in the league in tackles. He's the front runner for Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's a 3-down linebacker, which is very rare in today's climate. That is the reason why people tripped out. When we said Carson Schwesinger, linebacker, UCLA, we say, first of all, UCLA ain't no good. Second of all, if you draft a linebacker, they better be Ray Lewis, Patrick Willis, Brian Urlacher. You got to be a 3-down linebacker in this league. Or are you a Luke Kuechly, right? And guess what? He comes in. Not only does he come in, he's a freak of nature. The guy can run sideline to sideline. He's tough as nails. He can tackle in open space, and the dude is a freaking genius. He comes in, digests the whole defense, and he becomes the green dot day one. He ain't missed no snaps, ain't took no plays off. He takes no shorts. He brings his lunch pail, and he don't play no games. And so for me, all of y'all in the world, I called him, my guy says that's a Clay Matthews. I called him Carson Matthews. Like, that's their cousin. I said, that's their cousin. He from Northern California, not Southern California. And I keep trying to tell people, when you see, this is what I want to get to in the industry, Earl. Let's get back to what's on that field. Like, everything that stands on the field is sacred. What you do in the football field, I always tell people, jokingly, the only thing God care about is to make sure you ain't paralyzed or you get hurt seriously, right? And you can get up from the field and go home and talk to your peoples. But other than that, God is not out there on the football field. He over there, he is somewhere in the Middle East trying to keep the peace, trying to feed the people in Africa, trying to feed people in third world countries with tsunamis. That's where he at. But he not out there on that football field. So what you got to get, it don't matter if you rich, you poor, you white, you black, you purple, you a Martian, what religion. man, what happened on that football field is what matters. And what matters is I don't got to know you from nobody. If I just turned over and said, who is this? Who is this guy killing and doing whatever he want to? I got to show love no matter if I knew him or not. That's what I want to get back to when we can start talking about these games and what really matter. And what matter is he is the true epitome of a dog.
Yes, he is. All right, so we're going to have some fun, man. We built this show out to really have some fan interaction, have some fun with y'all again, man. We live. I have not done a live show in a minute. I ain't been on a panel in a minute, so I just wanted to kick it with Big Bro. I wanted to kick it with y'all. Browns fans, this is what we're about to do.
Okay.
We talking about Carson Schwesinger, right? Now, the linebacker position for the Cleveland Browns has not been one that's really been all that since our return in 1999. So we figured we'll go through the list, off the top of the dome. We'll take some chats that's in here and come up with a list compiling the top 5 linebackers who've suited up for the Cleveland Browns since 1999. And by the time we get to number 5, there will be a legit argument. Is Carson Schwesinger already in that list? Now, G, you said you looked up some. I looked up some. Again, man, we want y'all interaction in the chat. The first one I put on this list was Jamir Miller. And here's why. Okay, here's why.
Here we go.
Jamir Miller was the first baller that I can remember when the Browns returned. My man was a Pro Bowler in 2001. He was also second team All-Pro, and he had 13 sacks. This is before advanced medicine. I think he tore his Achilles in the preseason game against the Minnesota Vikings that ultimately ended his career. Does anybody have a problem with Jamir Miller being on this list?
No, Jamir Miller, like when they came back, Jamir Miller was the only athlete they had. Like he was the only dude, like when you look at it on defensive end that would get after the quarterback. And it was like, oh, Jamir Miller is back there. And 13 sacks, you got to think about it, 13 sacks back then was different because they wasn't throwing the football like that. They was running the ball 35, 36 times, with a lead back. So he was getting after quarterbacks. Jamir Miller definitely was one of them dudes that rang out, especially when the Browns came back since 1999. I definitely agree with that.
Jamir Miller got busy. The second one I came up with, man, he's a friend of the show. He used to be on the show all the time. He used to have a very, very strong negative opinion about one of our favorite linebackers. I believe he spent some time with the Browns, actually worked with this young man. I got DeQuell Jackson, number 2.
Yeah. DeQuell Jackson is a ring of honor dude. DeQuell Jackson, shout out to University of Maryland. DeQuell Jackson was one of them dudes. They played in that 3-4 concept, and he was a tackling machine. It seemed like for every year. Now up front, now granted, they was giving up 3-4 yards a carry, but we not counting that. It's just what it is. That ain't his fault. We could talk to them on another day up front. But as far as DeQuell Jackson, he was always one of the top tacklers in the league, right? Playing in that 3-4 position, had a great career, and then went on to play for the Indianapolis Colts and had some good years there too. But more than anything, he's personally one of my favorite, because he's one of those dudes where when we started UCSS, I had an opportunity and we got a chance to get to know him. He was on the show a lot. He pulled up, man, and he's one of them dudes where he show love. And he just a real solid dude, and he keep it. He don't politic you. He don't big time you. He come and show love wherever you at, no matter who you is. So, DeQuell's definitely on my top 5.
All right, next up for me, man, I got a name. I think Browns fans may or may not remember. Early 2000s cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he was another guy who got a lot of tackles. They was never behind the line of scrimmage. They was always 4, 5, 6 yards after the play. But like Andra Davis was one of those reliable linebackers for the early part of the Cleveland Browns return, man. Like, it wasn't a lot of tackles lost, but it was a lot of tackles there. Like I think dude had 100 tackles like all the damn time. Like,
and the fact that there was 2 Andra Davises, there was a receiver Andra Davis, and then it was the Andra Davis linebacker. So
fun fact. The receiver, though, he got the longest reception in Browns history. I still remember the 99-yard touchdown from Jeff Garcia.
Listen, so I was a fan of them teams because they had Dennis Orcutt, they had Andra Davis, they had Quincy Morgan, At the time, I think a couple years later, they drafted
They
Suggs,
still had Kevin
Lee
Johnson,
Suggs,
I think.
and they had Kevin Johnson. So they had these dudes, man. They was running the 4 wide receiver set when it was coming back, and we was like, when Kelly Holcomb was in there, you couldn't tell us nothing. Kelly Holcomb come off the bench, throw for 355.
Man, I remember that year that Andra Davis caught that long touchdown. We had Jeff Garcia, and we had just signed Jeff Garcia as a free agent from the 49ers. And he was like one of many quarterbacks that came here that we thought was going to be the savior. It just absolutely flamed the hell out. Like,
because back then, but you got to remember, we had seen Jeff Garcia with the 49ers throwing the T.O. and Jerry Rice and lighting people up. And then he got here. We thought we was going to get that same playbook. Nah, we didn't quite get it. I got a name for you, though. I got 2 names for you.
What's up? What you got?
This guy, he actually started a big movement in Cleveland. He started the dog check. Christian Kirksey.
Okay.
Listen, Kirko was a dude. Actually, he actually retired as a Cleveland Brown. It was Kirksey, and I think who was the receiver? Was it Hollywood Higgins? I think it might have been Hollywood Higgins. They retired here, but Kirksey was a guy who he had a lot. He was one of the first athletic linebackers that was moving around a little bit. The injuries caught him, but he was definitely a fan favorite, like in terms of what he was able to do. And the next guy, I saw it in the chat a little bit. When we got him, we felt we had one of them because he was former Baltimore Raven. He was always giving us the business. And then he got here, and it was Paul Kruger. Paul, remember? And he let his hair grow out. He had the mullet out the back, the flowing locks. And Paul Kruger had like one move. Like he had this little dip move. He was out there ballerina dancing. He had a couple good years here, man. So shout out to him. But Paul Kruger is a name that we definitely miss.
Of course, man. He's not on the field right now. He was in a building last Sunday, man. Jock. Again, these is in no particular order, man. But like,
it hurt my heart,
man. You really won't find a like. Listen, I'm not sure, man, if you will find a better human being than Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, right? This is a young man who's been through a lot, man. He lost his brother tragically. He does a lot for people in the city of Cleveland. He does a lot for people in other countries. He's even like, his game day outfits, everything is a cultural movement. The injury he suffered, man, I think all of us that are diehard Browns fans, like, we are just hoping and praying to God that we can see him back on the football field because now, man, we got visions of seeing him and Carson Schwesinger on the field at the same time.
Don't even. Why you do that?
Listen.
Why you do that?
Doctors can say whatever they want to say, man, but we all know God got the final answer. And when he put that message out earlier this year on TikTok, that was like a resurgence of energy of hold my phone. So
he really quick about his skill set. He was trending, and I had him when before he got injured. Go back to the Texans game. Myles Garrett was on that field. There was a couple other players. Denzel JOK was the best player on that field that day. I mean, it was lightning quick. The speed that he played, and the reason I say why you do that, can you imagine if you had 85% of what JOK is with Schwesinger? Stop.
Do I think he will ever come back? I think he's gonna come back. I think he come back.
I had a lot of neck injuries. I done had neck surgery multiple times. It's a tough injury. I wish but the bottom, I'm not gonna put that on nobody. I wish at the bottom of my heart he get an opportunity to come back. But the most important thing for me, I'm just glad that he can still walk. I'm glad he can still be around his family. And by the way, people talk about what the Cleveland Browns all the time do. Shout out to the Cleveland Browns for standing by him because he just signed that contract. And there's a lot of teams out here that would be trying to move around and get rid of that deal, and they keeping him in the fold. So shout out. You say what you want about the Haslam's. They keep it solid in terms of what they do and paying people their money and giving people second chances.
So a couple players for honorable mention before we move on to our last segment. Don't forget, I see the super chats. We will read super chats at the end of the show. Every single last one of them, man. Because y'all pay y'all hard-earned money and y'all deserve to get y'all damn super chats read.
We know.
So that's how we go.
We do out. Super chats this way.
We do those. Couple honorable mentions here, though. I know he was pissed off when he got traded here. Remember when Jamie Collins went from 6-0 to 0-6 real quick?
Oh, man. Jamie, listen, Jamie Collins, first and foremost, it was crazy because they traded him from New England. And it was almost like he went from being on one of the best teams to they traded him to Cleveland because, like, it was like, yeah, this is your punishment. You're going to go to Cleveland. And then he actually eventually went back to the Patriots and had some more good years. But Jamie Collins was mad athletic, bro. Like, he was one of them dudes. He was athletic, rangy. He just had some coverage issues sometimes. Jamie might not be in the right spot, but we ain't talking about that right now.
What you think about one Joe Schobert? Joe Schobert made a Pro Bowl.
Joe Schobert, by default, has to be on this team, on the list. Like, I think he made a couple Pro Bowls. But the crazy part about it is Carson Schwesinger is the highest level of Joe Schobert. Carson Schwesinger is almost like he's the next evolutionary step. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you had Reggie White, then you had Lawrence Taylor, and then you take Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White and cut the body fat down to 5%. And make them 3 inches taller, and you put Myles Garrett together. You're like, what the heck kind of evolution is this? Schwesinger is like him because he has those skills to play coverage and coverage. But as far as being an athlete and big, fast, strong, it's kind of crazy that you can even talk about Schwesinger like that already.
I know, like when we brought up Schwesinger before, I think you brought up Luke Kuechly. You learn stuff new every single day. I think like a couple months ago, I realized, like, did you know Luke was from Ohio? Did you know that?
No, I didn't know he was. I know
he's
when he
from
was
Cincinnati and he played for Xavier High School.
Man, Kuechly was, man. Shout out to Saint Xavier. We beat them in '98 for our first state championship. Shout out to them.
Ohio's the birthplace of football for a reason. Hey, my man D Woods 1609 says Taki.
Oh, yeah.
Taki
got the most out of his ability. Like, this dude was a great special teams player. That year, he was pivotal in that year when we went to when the Browns went to the playoffs and beat the Steelers. Taki was a big reason why the Cleveland Browns was even in that position, because the offense at the time was the best look. Defense was we kind of young. We'll see what he doing. But shout out to Taki.